Hello everyone, this is Aryan Thakkar, your coach and mentor, and welcome back to my YouTube channel on Aryan Tutorials, where in this video I'll be taking up your detailed revision for ISC Class 12's Macbeth Act 4 Scene 2. But before I get started, I want to request you that if you haven't been through your text, then kindly stop this video. First, take out your textbook, read through the entire text of Act 4 Scene 2, and then get going with this detailed revision video. So let's get started. Now, Act 4 Scene 2 basically takes place in Macduff's castle at 5, where Macduff himself is not present in this particular scene, but primarily the scene revolves around Lady Macduff, who is Macduff's wife, her son, and Ross, basically, who tries to come and mellow her down because she feels betrayed and cheated that Macduff has left for England without any prior information, that too in a situation which is very uncertain and unprecedented. Okay? So characters here are Lady Macduff, her son Ross, and later a messenger comes to issue a warning that there is an impending threat which is approaching to her castle, and then followed by the hired assassins of Macbeth. Take care. Starting with Lady Macduff, she is initially shown to be very angry and displeased with her husband, where Lady Macduff is angry and hurt because Macduff has fled, has run away to England, leaving his family behind unprotected. She feels abandoned, means all left alone, and betrayed, cheated, calling Macduff's flight as an act of fear or madness, that it was insane on the part of her husband to leave his wife and his children unprotected behind. Although Ross tries to comfort and mellow her down, Ross tries to comfort her. You can use this word pacify in your exam. Ross tries to pacify her, but he also senses some danger approaching and leaves immediately. Then there is a light, humorous conversation that goes on between the mother and the son, where Lady Macduff talks with her son, where their conversation is portrayed as warm, as witty, and innocent at the same time, showing a familiar love. Now, Shakespeare's attempt to show this domesticated sort of a setting is deliberate because before the hired assassins approach to ambush Lady Macduff and her son, he wants to show how callous, how sinister, and how evil Macbeth has grown owing to his vaulting ambition, that now his insecurity has started to creep inside domesticated environment, that his ruthlessness does not even spare innocent people. Take care. That is an important point which you need to bear in mind. So then an unnamed messenger enters, issuing a warning, where a messenger arrives and warns her to flee, to run away immediately, but she does not have time to do so, although she tries to battle, combat that I have done no wrong. But meanwhile, when she debates with herself, the hired assassins of Macbeth, they enter and they take down on Lady Macduff and her son, and they both are slain. So Macbeth's murderers enter and brutally, please use this word in your answer, they brutally kill Lady Macduff's son and then murder Lady Macduff off stage. The scene ends in terror, which is a very important aspect of the scene, and tragedy, showing Macbeth's cruelty is at its peak. His tyranny is at its pinnacle. Talking about the critical assessment or analysis, over here Macbeth's criminality is reached at its worst, is at its peak, where this is one of the most shocking scenes because over here the victims this time are innocent, they are defenseless, and they are not even associated with any political matters. It is just owing to one prophecy given by the armed head, that be where Macbeth decides to eliminate entire family of Macduff altogether. This shows that he has become desirous, ambitious, callous, sinister in his deeds. Take care. Macbeth's violence spreads from kings and nobles to now women and children, entering into a domestic setting, which shows his complete moral collapse. Then the way Lady Macduff and her son they are killed, it immediately evokes a sense of pathos. It gives rise to a sense of sympathy and empathy towards these innocent characters, where Shakespeare builds a strong sympathy through Lady Macduff's helplessness. She is shown and portrayed as helpless. She is incapable to protect herself and her son, although she tries to, and then child's innocence and humor and then the sudden violence. The murder becomes not just political, it becomes deeply personal and heartbreaking. Audience are left to think, to wonder, can ambition can cost innocent life too? And yes, it can. Take care. Then there is a contrast. This is a very important aspect, that too from your examination point of view. This is very important. Please prepare a very good question where you have to draw a contrast between Lady Macbeth and Lady Macduff as a character, and the kind of their end, tragic end which they meet. It is highly probable and expected in this year's board examination. Lady Macbeth was shown portrayed as ambitious and manipulative, and in sharp contrast to that, Lady Macduff is shown as more domesticated. She is more homely, she is protective, she is an epitome of a protective woman, and she is maternal. Her motherly love and instinct is portrayed through her exchange of conversation with her son. This contrast highlights what Macbeth's ambition is capable of destroying, that is, a normal family life and human warmth, which makes him unfit for ruling Scotland as a king. This scene strengthens Macduff's motivation, although it is not shown here, but in the next scene, when Macduff will come to know how his family was brutally murdered, he is going to make his guilt, he is going to make his agony, his anger as a weapon to depose Macbeth. So it is foreshadowing onto Macbeth's complete downfall. Take care. So it prepares the audience for Macduff's revenge later, and Macduff's fight becomes moral justice in the later part of the scene and not his personal ambition, unlike of Macbeth, that whatever Macbeth is doing for his own personal gain, which makes him appear selfish. Scotland as a land of fear, that is what the current situation is. Ross' nervousness and Messenger's warning show that Scotland is no longer safe, where violence is unpredictable. Who's the next target? Nobody knows. And trust has totally collapsed in this country. Talking about the character sketches, Lady Macduff is courageous, but then she is exposed to vulnerability. Macduff's son is innocent, witty, and intelligent. His playful sarcasm, his light-hearted conversation with his mother shows a childlike bravery, that he is mature for his age. However, he is slaughtered. He is sacrificed at the hand of Macbeth's tyranny and corruption. He symbolizes hope and purity, which is brutally destroyed. Take care. Talking about Ross, Ross basically represents the silent suffering who are undergoing pain, oppression, and agony under Macbeth's tyrannical reign. And the murderers are basically the instruments of Macbeth's tyranny. They are directly the perfect example of Macbeth's sinister ambition and desire to maintain his illegitimate position. And their attack shows Macbeth's rules through terror and bloodshedding. Macbeth is unfit of a king. Talking about some of the themes of this play, tyranny and innocence is the core theme. The core contrast between tyranny and innocence is highlighted in this particular scene, where Macbeth's rule become inhuman and violence is no longer political, but it has become a necessity, uh, which transforms into a senseless cruelty. So violence is no longer a political necessity, it has become a senseless cruelty on the part of Macbeth. Family and domestic lives. This scene shows what Macbeth destroys: motherhood, childhood, and home security. A normal family situation where family becomes innocent family becomes a victim of Macbeth's ambition. Then there is betrayal and loyalty. Lady Macduff feels Macduff has betrayed her, but irony is that Macduff is actually loyal to the throne and to the country. He is patriot to Scotland, but then his loyalty, his patriotism costs him his entire family. Fear and disorder. Scotland has become prone to uncertainty, a place where danger arrives suddenly and even noble homes are not safe. And justice and revenge. The scene will fuel Macduff's later role as the agent of righteous vengeance. That is, he is going to avenge his murdered family. Some of the key quotations are: his flight was madness. That means Lady Macduff's she interprets Macduff's escape as irrational abandonment. In his haste, in his impulse, he did something which he shouldn't have. He loves us not. It is a powerful emotional line on the part of Lady Macduff where she is portrayed as heartbroken and shattered. Ross's words, cruel are the times when we are the traitors and do not know ourselves, where Scotland is so unsafe that innocent looks like guilty, although they haven't done anything wrong. Then there is mother and child conversation where poor bird, thou wouldst never fear net nor line. Lady Macduff compares herself to a helpless bird who's trapped and surrounded by danger. Fathered he is, and yet he is fatherless, a heartbreaking paradox, basically a defiance, violation where the child has a living father, yet there is no protection. That is a paradox. And then murderer's brutality, what you egg, shocking insult plus cruelty towards a child who is innocent, who is harmless. And he has killed me, mother. That is Lady Macduff's son's last words, one of the most tragic line, innocence meeting violence. Now, these are some of the lines which you should be incorporating in your answer to elevate the standard of your answer. Act 4, Scene 2 exposes human cost of Macbeth's tyranny, where Shakespeare intensifies pathos, empathy, by placing innocence directly in the path of political violence. The domestic setting becomes a battlefield, like warlike zone, proving that tyranny spares no one. Lady Macduff's death marks Macbeth's moral descent into indiscriminate, यानी बिना किसी भेदभाव के वो किसी को भी मार सकता है, cruelty. The child's innocence function as a moral mirror, reflecting Macbeth's inhumanity, how inhumane Macbeth has grown in his ambition. The scene transforms Macduff's resistance into a quest, into a journey for justice rather than just power. And Scotland is portrayed as a nation where safety and trust have completely collapsed. This tragedy, this assassination of Lady Macduff and her son shifts the play from a political murder to an emotional devastation. These are some of the lines which you should be using. And coming to the end of this particular scene, Act 4, Scene 2 shows that Macbeth's ambition, Macbeth's ambition has turned into ruthless tyranny where even the innocent lives are sacrificed to maintain a power which is illegitimate, an unstable crown which he does not even deserve. So, with this, we come to the end of this detailed revision on scene 2. I hope you are liking my content and are having a great time preparing for your examination. If you are, then please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I will see you in my next video. Till then, keep studying, keep smiling, take care. Bye bye.